the first to know Nsem-Pii TV.
Dr. Bawumia egune aprobo so na me ne okasa de waboshi akwakopiemu ewo Volta region a otwa na probo no eso na said ye nya enim no eyade se NDC amanyuko na executive led by Johnson Esiedunketia omonto ewo Volta region a won eye campaign na adie bi aye won nwanwa pa na afi Esiedunketia kra ebisa NDC executives ne se enti Volta region pa ena yegina a ene Voltarians act to say the one enemy ye nyina ne se Dr. Bawumia etimi ababe piemu ene nananom ahemfofo na won support NDC amanyokuo ni nyina agi twi ene Peter Amawu ene won akako ku Dr. Bawumia campaign no a oye na se asnobo NDC amanyokuo na Esiedunketia ne fifikote ne won akekeke ka ho nyina na enya asem kotwa yenko ne enko video ni bi ene nsem a Dr. Bawumia kokopie mo ho otimi ade atu edwa
mama ko mankraro so foto makako
efiago ba toku sojira
who said that we were just lying to the Ghanaian people. They said it was a 419 promise. They said it was not possible. But I said, by the grace of God, it is possible. We can do free senior high school education. For the last 8 years, we have been implementing free SHS, and 5.7 million children have gone to school free under the free SHS policy. This has never happened before. This is historic. And I will say that during the previous government, even chalk was a problem in school. But today, we are buying computer tablets, and we are going to distribute to every senior high school student in Ghana will have a computer tablet. It hasn't happened before, and we are not only giving these computers to the students. All teachers in Ghana, from kindergarten to senior high school teachers, every teacher is getting a laptop under one teacher, one laptop policy to help in their teaching. We have also restored the teacher training allowances that were cancelled. We have restored the nursing training allowances that were cancelled. We have brought the National Ambulance Service back to life under the one constituency, one ambulance policy. When we came into office, the whole of Ghana had only 37 ambulances. But today, we have 307 ambulances in Ghana. We have brought many other policies. Agenda 111 is a major policy for healthcare. We are building 111 hospitals across the country. That has not happened before. That has been unprecedented, and many of them are close to completion, and some will definitely, by the grace of God, be completed this year. We have, in addition, brought the DRIP program, the District Road Improvement Program, where we are giving every district equipment, excavators, the graders, the backhoes, the rollers, tipper truck. Every district is getting road maintenance equipment so that we can use it to maintain our roads. And that has never also happened before. We have gone also into digitalization of the economy. We've issued the Ghana card and we have a national ID database. We have also issued and implemented a digital address system. We have brought mobile money interoperability into Ghana. Before, you couldn't send money from Vodafone to MTN or to Airtel TV. Before, you couldn't take money from a bank account to a Momo account. But today, because we've implemented mobile money interoperability, we are able to move money between the different telecom companies and between the banks and the telecom companies. We are the first country in the whole of Africa to implement mobile money interoperability of this nature. We have also brought in drones, medical drones with zipline to deliver medicines to hospitals and to clinics and CHIPS compounds all over Ghana. We have 6 drone centers in Ghana, and we are delivering to 2,700 hospitals and medical facilities every day, medicines, blood, vaccines, and we are saving lives every day. What is interesting is that the whole of the world, Ghana is now the leading country in medical drone delivery service in the whole world. We are leading. Recently, the US Vice President Kamala Harris was praising Ghana for taking the lead in medical drone delivery in the world. We have done the Zongo Development Fund also for the first time in history to help Zongo communities across the country. We have, under the Zongo Development Fund, completed 200 projects, including 75 schools. We have given over 1,000 scholarships to Zongo students across the country. And we have taken 40 Zongo students to Cuba to study medicine. And they will finish next year by the grace of God and come back to work in Ghana. So you will see that the policies we have been implementing are broad-based policies. They are policies that are impacting on everyone in Ghana. By the grace of God, I am running to be president of this country. And if by the grace of God, you help me to become president, I also have additional ideas that I want to bring so that we can move this country forward. My first priority as a president will be agriculture. Agric and the fortunes of our farmers will be my #1 priority as a president. Why? Because as a country, we need food security. 60% of our population are farmers. So if farmers do well, then the nation will do well. If farmers don't do well, we will not be doing well as a nation. So this nation, we import tomatoes, we import rice, we import maize, we import onions, basic things that we eat every day. I believe that if we pay attention to agriculture, it is possible that rather Ghana, we will be exporting tomatoes and rice and onions and maize. We should not be importing. We have land, we have water. We can do irrigation across the whole Volta to make sure we help farmers. And I want to put our resources, our technology, our money behind farming, behind agriculture, so that we can move agriculture in this country. As a result of this policy, I also want to establish district agri mechanization centers. Every district, we will have a mechanization center so that all the agricultural equipment that the farmers need, whether it's tractors, whether it's planters, whether it's combined harvesters, we put them at the disposal of the farmers in every district, just as we are doing for road construction and giving equipment. We will provide equipment for farming in every district so that everybody that wants to farm can have access to all of those equipment. The second policy that I'm going to bring as a president is to look at the cost of electricity in Ghana. At the moment, the cost of electricity is high. The cost of electricity is high because we import oil and gas to generate electricity. And when we import oil and gas, because we are bringing it from abroad, it is high, the cost is high. It's a global price. So when we bring it into Ghana, the cost of electricity goes up. So I want Ghana to move away, to take a new decision, a bold decision, to move away from a dependence on oil and gas to a dependence on solar power for us to generate electricity. I want Ghana to move towards solar power. God has given us the sun for free, and I want to harness 2,000 megawatts of solar power to add to our electricity generation. And when we do that, we will reduce the cost of electricity by at least 50%, by at least 50% reduction in the cost of electricity. And when we are going to do solar power, my friend Kofi Jabesi is here. He is in Pui, and they have already started the solar power plants and generation. When we are going to do solar power, we are going to need a lot of solar panels to generate 2,000 megawatts. A lot of solar panels, which means we need solar farms across many districts. My policy is not to import the solar panels. There will be too many. We will set up the factories here in Ghana to manufacture the solar panels for us to use in the generation of the electricity. And when we do that, we will create jobs for our own people and reduce the cost of the move towards solar power. The other policy that I want to bring is a major policy for Ghana. If you look today at our fisher folks, one of the biggest problems our fishermen have is premixed fuel. Every time that you hear fishermen talk, it's about problems of obtaining premixed fuel. And we have lived with this problem for a very long time. And I've been thinking along with my team, how do we solve this problem? It's a perennial problem. But thankfully, we have a solution. We now have outboard motors that don't use premixed fuel, that use solar power and electric power to power the outboard motors. So I want Ghana to help our fisher folks, that we want to move away from outboard motors that depend on premixed fuel to outboard motors that depend on solar power and electric power to power them. And so at the end of this month, the beginning of next month, we are going to pilot the solar powered outboard motors for all the fishermen to see how they work, so that they all buy into that concept. So by the first week of November, we will be demonstrating these solar-powered, electric-powered outboard motors across the fishing communities, across the country, so that we can move. So if we move to these outboard motors which are not powered by solar, we will save a lot of money in the first place. Fishermen don't need to buy premix fuel to power their boats. We'll save a lot of money, and then also government will also save a lot of foreign exchange that we use to import the food. And so we are also going to help the fisher folks by giving them credit facilities to buy these outboard motors so that they can pay bit by bit and over time. So it's going to be a major policy. Another major policy that I want to introduce into Ghana is a policy that deals with chieftaincy. It's a policy that I have worked on with my good friend Kofi Jabesi, who chaired my manifesto committee to deal with this issue. I want Ghana to bring the chiefs more into governance. Since independence, we have kept our chiefs away from the governance of this country. And it has been a mistake. So I want to amend Section 63 of the Chieftaincy Act to give more powers to the chiefs to help us to govern this country. There are so many cases that we can do in our palaces. So many cases can be resolved in our palaces, but we take them to court and clog the court system. So I want to amend Section 63 to give the chiefs some more powers to help us in the governance of this country. The other thing that I want to do, because if the chiefs are to help us, we also have to help the chiefs. So in terms of resources to the palaces, currently we pay only paramount chiefs, but they are not living allowances. They are too small. So I am bringing in a new policy to pay living allowances, not only to the paramount chiefs, but to the queen mothers and the divisional chiefs as well, so that we can bring up the chieftaincy institution. I also want to help the churches and the Islamic institutions. The churches and the Islamic institutions help this nation so much. The schools that they build, the hospitals that they build, if we take them out of Ghana, those schools and hospitals, then Ghana will collapse. The churches do so much, the Islamic institutions do so much, but we don't help them. All that they do is through donations. Fi sabilillah. That's how they build their schools and build their hospitals. But if, for example, our so-called development partners are coming to build a hospital or a school, we say to them, you are development partners. So if you are bringing in equipment for a hospital or a school, you don't pay duty. But if a church is bringing in, or an Islamic institution is bringing in equipment for a hospital, we will say, go and pay duty. So I'm going to change the classification. All the churches and Islamic institutions, we are going to classify them as development partners of government. And when we classify them, they will also be entitled to those incentives that we are giving our external development partners, and they will also not pay those. When we do that, I can promise you, we are going to get a lot of support through the churches and through the Islamic institutions to do a lot of development. But a lot of support does not come in because of duty payments and all of this. But we are changing that. We are going to give you a new classification for our relationship. And a lot of the churches and Islamic institutions can help us enforce discipline in our schools. Discipline in our schools. We have to work closer together, and that is what I want us to do, to bring the chiefs in and to bring the churches and Islamic institutions in, so that we all work together for the sake of Mother God. Mama, we have also heard of a lot of talk in Ghana about LGBTQ+, isn't it? We have heard a lot of talk about LGBTQ+, where men are supposed to be able to marry men and women are supposed to be able to marry women. That practice under my presidency will never be tolerated in Ghana. Will never be tolerated in Ghana. We will not allow it. The Bible does not allow it. The Quran doesn't allow it. Our traditions don't allow it. Our culture doesn't allow it. Our values don't allow it. We will not allow it, no matter the cost. We will stand firm and defend our society. There's also a major policy that I am bringing by the grace of God for the benefit of all Ghanaians. We have done a lot of work on it. If you look at the advanced countries, you look at UK, you look at America, you look at Germany, there is one institutional policy that exists in the advanced countries that makes life